So we made it into the studio and we're going to start out with Octaboxes. Now, a quick note about this tutorial is we are not going to go into a bunch of different lighting setups for Octaboxes. That'll be at a different time. What we're trying to show you is the differences in modifiers so that when you go to set up your composites, you'll know which one to pick to recreate the type of lighting that you're trying to simulate in camera. Octaboxes are some of my favorite modifiers to use. One of the reasons is because of how soft the light is. Now, in composite photography, that's good sometimes, and other times it's not, and that's why we're going to take you through a couple different modifiers in this tutorial. But to get started, we're going to try and set up all the modifiers roughly the same way so you can see how the shadows and the fall off looks. That way, when you're recreating sunlight, natural light, harsh light, you'll be able to pick the correct one for every situation. Right, so we have our Octabox set up, and this is what you would call a top side light. And we're going to set up each modifier as a top side light so you can see the difference between the fall off and the shadows that they're going to create. So let's start shooting this Octabox. Now on the screen you can see the fall off is really soft and really beautiful, and that's the appeal of an Octabox. We have this Octabox in nice and close so that all the shadows are going to be really, really soft across the face. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to zoom in on her face so that we can get a better idea of what the catch lights look like and a little bit better idea of what the highlight shadow is looking like. So I'm going to zoom in. Let's shoot a couple more. And this is beautiful lighting. We're almost to Rembrandt, but it's not quite a Rembrandt lighting. And this is one of the reasons why I love using Octaboxes so much, why they are some of my favorites, because of how beautiful, just by itself, this is an Octabox with no other fill lights or anything like that. And this is what you get. So we're going to get ready and set up our 69-inch Rotolux Octabox. But before we do that, I wanted to talk to you guys about the quickest and easiest way to get your lights onto an Octabox. Now, I am using a Elinchrom BX500RI, and they just have a quick locking system that goes onto the speed rings. So what you're going to want to do is put your Octabox face down on the ground, make sure your light's in the unlocked position. Now, you're just going to slide your light on top and turn it until it slides into the grooves, and then turn it to get it locked, and click it to lock it into place. Now your light's ready to go. You can lift it up and put it straight onto your stand and start shooting. All right, so now we have our 69-inch Rotolux Octabox up, and this is just to give you an idea of why the sizes are important. We still have it set up as a top side light, and it's going to be to camera right, and you'll see how much more of her body it's going to illuminate and how much softer the shadows are going to be because we kept it about the same distance, but it's a much bigger source of light. So let's shoot a couple and see what it looks like. Beautiful. So you can see the fall off is just a little bit softer, but the coverage is much, much greater. So it's going all the way down to her boots. It's creating a little more highlights in the leather, which if you're shooting a product especially is going to be really, really important. Another thing to think about is if you are shooting a sunny scene where there's a lot of really soft ambient light, switching over to a 69-inch Octabox might be a great way to go so that you can mimic that soft fall off just a little bit easier. All right, so we've talked about the Octabox and we're moving on to another one of my personal favorites, and that is the strip box. We have two strip boxes here tonight, a 20 by 51 inch, which is this big guy right here, which we're actually not gonna shoot because it's very similar to what happens when you go to a bigger Octabox. And it's just a little bit softer and has more coverage. What we're gonna focus on tonight is the 14 by 35, and that's this little guy right here. It's really dramatic, has great fall off, and it's a million different uses when it comes to composite photography. So let's get started and start showing you how it works. So we've got our strip box set up as a top side light, just like the Octaboxes, to demonstrate the difference in the fall off and the drama that you're gonna get from this. So let's start shooting it. We're gonna shoot full body first and see where we're at. And this is just For composite photography, I get really excited because it's so dramatic, and a lot of composite images just have that kind of grit and drama. And that's why strip boxes really excel. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna zoom in on the face so you guys can get a really good idea for how different this is from an Octabox. And you can see how much harder the shadows are. We're still about the same. We're almost to Rembrandt, but not quite. And it has this beautiful quality to it that goes almost to black on one side without any kind of fill. So if you're looking for drama or trying to simulate a harder light source, use your strip box, and that's going to be one of your best bets. So as an added bonus, I wanted to show you guys a really quick trick with strip lights that I use all the time in composite photography, and that's using them as a side light. Now, what we've done is we've created a little bit of a rim light with a silver reflector, camera left, and we have the strip box almost completely parallel to the model's shoulder on camera right. So we're going to shoot this, and I'm just going to show you how cool this lighting is just by itself. Back up just a little bit for me. So if you're looking for something moody and dramatic, even if you're doing a really cool sports portrait, this is a really quick and easy way to do a one light setup and get something really poppy and really dramatic out of one strip light set to the side with a silver reflector. Right, so the next thing we're going to talk about is the beauty dish. This particular one we have is an Elinchrom 17-inch beauty dish, and it's a soft white. You can get them in silver, and you can also get socks and stuff to diffuse them, but today we're just going to be using it plain. Now the way you set this guy up is really simple, and that's what's nice about beauty dishes. They just kind of clip on. So you find your groove just like normal, clip it in, and then lock it into place. The next thing you're going to do, and this is kind of the cool part, I'm going to turn this towards you, is you put a deflector on the inside. So today we're going to be using the silver, and the way you set this up is pretty simple. You take this rod that comes with your beauty dish, slide the square in, and then you're just going to screw this piece together, just like this. Now this is the cool part about a beauty dish, and this is what gives it that circle within a circle catch light in the eye. Then this piece right here slides right into this hole, and that's the hole you'd usually put your umbrella in. And now your beauty dish is set up, and it's ready to use. We're going to do something a little bit different with the beauty dish that we didn't do with the Octabox or the strip box, and that's to set it up kind of the generic way that you usually would. Now what we've done is we have the beauty dish just above the model's head, and it's about an arm's length away from the model. That's typically how I start my setup, just to make sure. And we're going to fire off a couple of these just so you can see the way a beauty dish is supposed to act. So let's shoot a couple. Now I have switched over to a 105 just so it could be nice and tight so you guys can see the shadows on this, and especially the catch lights. And so you can really see the catch lights we're talking about here, which is that circle within a circle right up towards the top of the eye. And that's the way a beauty dish is designed to be used. Now let's talk about some other ways to use a beauty dish and create some cool lighting for composite. So before we go into the top side light like we did with the Octabox and the strip box, I want to show you guys another kind of cool trick that you can do with the beauty dish that's a little bit non-conventional. What we're going to do is we're going to turn this into a sort of top spotlight look. And this is great if you're doing a composite where there's a street light or something like that that you want to mimic. And this gives a really cool, soft but hard kind of fall off with a really cool look. So here's how we're going to do this. All I'm going to do is take this beauty dish and move it back towards my camera. Then I'm going to check where my model is. I'm going to turn it down just a little bit to compensate for when we go up. Once that's set, I'm going to lift it up until my shadows are a lot more dramatic below her chin. Make sure we're pretty lined up. That looks great. So this is going to be a great top light that will have a lot of drama and sort of look like a really soft spot. Let's shoot it and see how it looks. Okay, so we've got our beauty dish in place up over, and we're going to kind of mimic a really cool top spotlight. But now that we have it way up there, it's too dark. So I'm gonna fire this off and show you guys where we're at. And it's obviously too dark, so we need to change it. But this is the cool thing about the Elinchrom Skyport system. Now, I just have the Skyport Plus on here, and all I'm gonna do is I have it set to group and all, and I'm just gonna hit the plus button, and I can see my numbers from here. So I'm gonna take this up. It was on 3.0, and I'm gonna take it to 4.0, and then we're gonna fire it again to see where we're at. And that's getting pretty close, but we need a little bit more. So I'm gonna take it all the way to 5. And again, I'm just reaching up on top of the Skyport transmitter and pushing it, the plus sign, until we get to 5. That's awesome. So now we have this really cool top light, and we made adjustments to a light that's way up top with our transmitter and have this great shot that we can composite into something where the light source is coming from above. All right, so now we've taken our beauty dish and moved it into a topside light position, just like the other softboxes we've been using. The cool thing about this is that it's gonna give a really soft fall off on the face, but it's gonna drop off really quickly towards the feet and only really light the top half of the body. So let's check this out. And this is what I really like about beauty dishes for composite. One of the tricks that composite photographers will use is making the feet darker than the face, because the feet are some of the hardest parts to connect in a composite image. And with a beauty dish, you can light it from the front and have this really beautiful soft light across the face, but then have the feet fall almost to black, which makes it a lot easier to composite into your final image. Now let's zoom in and check out those catch lights and see how the light is reacting on the face. Now you can see how it's a nice light across the face, still at almost Rembrandt. It's what they call loop lighting, but it's still falling off down by the hands, which is really gonna help make a believable composite for your final product. All right, final modifier of the night is the Spotlight Grid. These are awesome little tools that I recommend every composite photographer have. Really easy to set up. The ones that I have here are a 30 degree, a 20 degree, and a 12 degree. Now the easy way to tell, just in case the numbers get rubbed off, is as they get thinner, that means the beam is gonna be wider. So we know this is our 30 degree. Tonight we're gonna set up our 12, so I'm gonna hand this one off. These are really easy to put on. You're just gonna take this metal spring on the outside and you're gonna slide that into the reflector first, making sure to keep this plastic tab facing out. So I'm gonna slide that up, push on the spring just a little bit, and slide my grid in. Now the reason why it's important to have this plastic tab sticking out is because these are gonna get pretty hot, especially if you have your modeling lights on. So when you're going to take them out, make sure you don't touch the metal, especially if you're not wearing gloves, and you just pull on this plastic tab and it'll come right out. We're gonna pop this in, get it all set up, and shoot with some grids. So we have our 12 degree spot grid set up as a top side light, and get ready for some drama because it is coming. One of my favorite things about this modifier is how much control you have over it. So let's get a shot in and see how we're looking. And we're really overexposed. Now this sometimes happens when you're switching between modifiers. The Octaboxes and strip boxes had quite a bit of diffusion on them, and this grid really doesn't have much diffusion. So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna hop onto our Skyport transmitter and we're gonna adjust it down. We were at 3.0, and I'm gonna take it all the way down to 2.3. And now we're gonna give that a try and see where we're at. And it's still a little hot. So now, since our light is down to the lowest power it can go, we can make adjustments in our camera to get it where we want it to be. We're at F9, so we're just gonna jump up to F11, and that should get us really, really close. All right. And that looks fantastic. You can see that the lighting is about the same, but the fall off is so dramatic, you can't even see the lower half of her body. This is great light that's really versatile and super useful when it comes to composite photography. For our final setup, we wanted to do a quick teaser of the next tutorial that's coming at you guys. So we have combined a bunch of the modifiers that we talked about today to make a 3-light setup that you could use in a composite. For starters, we have a 75-inch light motive indirect Octabox. That's going to provide a little bit of fill. Over there, we've switched out to a 30-degree grid and turned it into a rim light on the model. And up high, we have a D-Light RX4 attached to our 53-inch Octabox. So let's take a couple shots of this and see where we're at. Looks incredible. Now what we're going to do next time is do a few more setups like this and show you how to start combining all these lights to get exactly what you're looking for to fit into any composite that you would want to do. Thank you guys so much for watching. Special thanks to my model Savannah and my assistant Brent. Make sure you stay tuned for our next tutorial where we're going to show you guys how to combine all of these modifiers to make the perfect composite lighting. Make sure you click subscribe, and until next time,